summer sun, we watch as you set, sending your long arms of light from the west. Summer sun, you shine so bright as you begin your return to the night. Summer sun, we watch as you set, sending your long arms of light from the west. Summer sun, you shine so bright as you begin your return to Hey, everybody.
Hi.
Welcome to Tarot for Today, Divine Dabblings with
Oberon.
Sorry. And me, Banshee.
That was my special summer solstice personage.
Yeah, today is summer solstice.
So happy first day of summer.
Happy midsummer. And if you notice today, I am wearing my sun and moon pendant in honor of it. Or wait a minute. Maybe I'm wearing it for another reason.
As a charm?
No, because it's the eclipse.
Oh, okay. Well, I thought a charm for or...
Warding off the damage of the eclipse, Mr.
Because also, too, Mercury's retrograde.
Yes, there is
Yay.
that. And I've already been running into Mercury retrograde snafus. We are not going to go there right now.
But this is our monthly astrological reading for the sign of, as we move into Cancer, and it's for all the signs, but it's based on the qualities of your modality. So there are 3 modalities in the zodiac, and every elemental sign fits into one of them.
Right. We have the cardinal signs, the fixed signs, and the mutable signs. And so, you know, you should know which you are, but if not, we will certainly let you know.
Okay, so basically, the basic rundown is fixed signs tend to hold the energy and a stability.
Yeah. Why did you not start with cardinal?
I don't know. Why didn't I?
It seems like cardinal would be the ones to start with.
Okay, well, I wanted to give a brief run through of what those meant.
Did you maybe do that because you are a fixed sign, Mr.
I'm going to fix something.
See, we're having a lot of fun here today on the solstice. So basically, cardinal signs are the energy signs of the zodiac that get things done and moving.
Fixed signs are the ones that kind of maintain that energy.
And mutables are, no.
Well, no, they kind of prepare the way for the next change, the next cycle.
They're very important.
Because each month, as each sign goes into a new quality, the sun sign, there may be new changes and new ways to approach the situations that you have.
So, hey, we are doing this a little more dumbed down today, just in our simple program with no special mics or equipment.
And with me, a dummy.
We wanted to show our trees outside because they look so beautiful, but they're all washed out by the sunlight. So maybe some other time for that.
And so we have another sun to contend with, our sun man.
Our sun man is here trying to get in the camera.
So let's get started right away.
Yes, we are.
Okay.
So we are starting with the cardinal signs first. And the cardinal signs are Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. And basically, the cardinal sign, we have readings that are specifically geared to each modality. So this is the reading for all the cardinal signs. And I'm going to shuffle up here. And as Oberon is shuffling, I will let you know what deck we're using. We're using this deck pretty much regularly now for this particular reading. It's a nice celestial deck, and I mean that literally. It is called the Celestial Tarot, and it is by Kay Steventon and Brian Clark. And it's just got a lot of astrological and other, celestial associations. So we hope you enjoy.
Cut.
Sure. Let's see what's going on with the cardinal signs. Well, we have the Six of Cups upright. And we have the Ace of Wands reversed. And I forgot I throw 4 cards for this, so I'll be picking up another one. And then we have the Temperance reversed. And finally, the final card, interestingly enough, is the Eight of Wands reversed. I definitely sense a theme here, Mr. O, for the most part. I do. Well, look at that, for example. But let's just roll on and see. So, the first card is about what changes will be initiated this month by the cardinal signs. And we have the Six of Cups, which is interesting in a way, because it seems as though whatever gets initiated this month, in my mind, has roots in the past.
It has roots in the past, and it has roots in the fondness for the past, or for the things that were the most pleasurable or emotionally comforting.
Yes. And I think that it's all the positive, either from memories or experiences from your past are going to lead to some brainstorming ideas this month. And maybe, in a way, what changes are being initiated, it is possible that the cardinal signs might be reestablishing old connections from their past that were beneficial to them.
And let's face it, too, because of what worldwide we're going through with a lot of the situations with quarantine and stuff like that, we may be looking for the things from our past that worked when we had to deal with a simpler lifestyle, a simpler mode of communication, and see how to make those systems work for us again. It could very well mean that some systems have broken down to the point where they have to be taken backwards to be rebuilt, to be reinitiated.
Card 2 is how will you nurture and cultivate your goals, desires, or relationships? Well, we did draw the Ace of Wands reversed for that one. And I think that the Ace of Wands reversed is saying here that things are going to get off on the wrong foot maybe initially. There may be some delays or some roadblocks to your plans and your goals, your desires, your relationships. Things seem to be getting in the way.
It suggests a holding pattern, if nothing else, too. It may be that there's delays, but it may also indicate that for this overall month that there may be a holding pattern. And, of course, that sort of goes along with the more cumulative or what's the word I'm looking for? The community reading, the collective reading, that things are kind of in a lockdown or kind of in a stasis of sorts. The Ace of Wands talks about things that want to grow or are intended to grow, but maybe are not quite realizing their growth.
Yes, and card 3 is how can you gain cooperation or support from others this month? Well, in this case, we have Temperance reversed. So, how can you gain cooperation or support from others with Temperance reversed?
You may not be able to.
I'm beginning to think that is the problem here. It's hard to do when you are at odds, when you're at polar opposites with one another. There is a need to find common ground in order to gain the cooperation and support. Instead of each side maintaining their status quo and their positions, we need some movement here. We need some balance. We need some harmony. We need some willingness to bend.
Well, maybe, too, this just means that sometimes certain things have to fall to the floor and that certain times the kid gloves are off. Ooh. Maybe there'll be some attitudes of we just have to make this work and, darn with the results. The idea that maybe sometimes you can't always be as nice as you want because the situation is urgent. I'm not suggesting that this is necessarily the right way for things to be handled, but it could mean that maybe there's just really a sense that the mountain is not coming to Muhammad. Muhammad will be coming to the mountain.
And card 4, the final card, is how can my talents and resources be best put to use? Aha. And we have For this one, we have the Eight of Wands reversed. And so basically, I think the best way that you can utilize your talents and resources is if you focus. Focus on one thing at a time. Don't let your energy get scattered all over the place. Don't try to do too much. Focus, focus, focus.
And also pace yourself too. This is also a clue to be mindful of your energy, because sometimes we are overachievers. In fact, Mr. O has a summer solstice overachievement story for you, which is basically that I was hoping to do something in honor of the solstice that I just really didn't have it organized enough and enough energy to really complete that. It's not a big loss because there's still a little solstice surprise in store for everyone, but basically watch your energy, watch how you meter out energy, be mindful of that.
Absolutely. And so basically that was the reading for the cardinal signs. I'm just going to hold it up here so you can see the cards again. And
Sunny approves.
And Sunny approves. And so basically, you see what I was saying here, though, Mr. O, just to end this, with Temperance reversed and the Eight of Wands reversed, I kind of sense there's this need to find balance again, you know, and focus and clarity. And I think that those two reversed are really stressing that point.
This could be saying to me, too, is that there will be an attempt to work with the non-balance that is, but ultimately forces will say, no, you gotta put your best foot forward and look at all sides of the question, all aspects.
That's what we have for the cardinal signs for the period of Cancer.
Alrighty.
Sun in Cancer.
So we will move on now.
We are moving on to the fixed signs now. So that's for you Leos, Scorpios, Aquarians, and Taurians. This is your reading for the sign of Cancer.
And Sunny Boy is behaving perfectly for a change.
Yeah, he better.
I think he heard Mama. Yes, you are the most beautiful one, Sun Man.
Summer solstice kitty.
And I see you looking at my glass.
Yeah, I do too.
Do not.
No. Not. You did that before, and what happened?
We had to stop our show.
We're not stopping this tape for you. No, Sonny, stay there. Or leave. That might be better.
Bye-bye.
We love him, but he does get in the way of the cards sometimes.
He's kind of needy these days.
All right, so I'm going to draw the 4 cards. Wowzers. Well, there's a bit of up and down, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. We have the first card is going to be the Two of Wands, upright. The second card is our friend, I don't know, the Seven of Swords, reversed. And we have the Death card, upright, for the third card. And our final card for the fixed signs is the King of Swords reversed. So let's get down to brass tacks here. Card 1 is about what are the qualities that the fixed signs need to display in order to make a positive impression on others. And you have the Two of Wands. You want to start this one?
Well, Two of Wands. I would say to some degree this is talking about the need to realize how well invested you are, how well planning and organized you are, but also how to be able to gracefully accept delays and changes. You need to show yourself sort of as in charge, in control, but not at a hyper level, kind of at a relaxed level, kind of at a knowing level.
Nice. I kind of am looking at that and thinking to myself that the Two of Wands, is kind of a card of, generally kind of a card of impending success, right? Like
Yes.
it's just around the corner. So I think what the qualities you need to display is how you handle success. How gracefully, do you handle, victory or success? Are you going to be boastful and, everybody's going to think you're a big cad? Or are you going to handle it magnanimously? Are you going to share your success with others? How are you going to handle success?
Okay.
Card number 2, what can I share with others or allow others to share with me? And we have that diabolical Seven of Swords, and it is reversed.
Well, I think that what we share with others in this situation for these fixed signs is that ability to look at what your challenges are, what the oppression is against you, what may overwhelm you, and yet still be able to figure out how you can still best use what you do have as an advantage.
Yeah, I also think that, it's also just basically the idea that, what you want to do is share. It's not your leadership ability so much, but it's your, you want to share with others the fact that you can be trusted. You want to show others that you are there if they want you to, if they want to, take you into their confidence, that you're not going to break their trust. You want to show that you are trustworthy and share that with others. And also that you are somebody that they can count on, when the chips are down and they might need some advice or, some good direction from you.
As swords represent the intellectual aspects too, I think there's a cleverness about this card, and I think that this is showing that you could be the person who solves things. You could have the energies to have creative solutions. Sometimes they are very unorthodox, but still they are what may be called for.
I'm always evolving with how I look at the Seven of Swords, and, I get advice from other readers that really helps me out with that. But I think that, I've always looked at the Seven of Swords reversed as better than when it's upright. But, I am coming to terms with the fact that there are some very positive qualities about this card either way. So, as well as negative.
And I think a lot of that has come to light because in our current political, social climate, a lot of things that we accepted as a conventional wisdom about why people should or shouldn't protest or how they should or shouldn't protest have been very much challenged. And I think the card kind of speaks to that right now.
I agree.
Let's move on.
So what role will my connections or the connections I make with friends, family, associates, or intimate partners play in this cycle? So, this is very interesting. We have, dun, 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 the Death card. And so what I would say is that there's going to be some shakeups and some changes with your connections. Maybe you have decided you need to expand and broaden your social circle, or maybe it's time to toss some aside. I think that there are definitely some shakeups happening here, and this is actually a positive for you.
Well, it's clearly fundamental change, and of course, much of this has been going on since before this particular sun cycle. But I think what it's telling us is that moving into Cancer, Mercury retrograde, etc., we are going to be having serious situations with the emotionality of how we have seen what our connections do for us. And not already on the internet, a lot of people are saying, I didn't realize that this person was really somebody who I should not really get along with or whose views are so opposed to mine. And I know there's a lot of talk now about getting beyond politics and things like that. And I don't want to really nag on anybody, but I'll just say that for some of us, politics is an everyday reality that we cannot necessarily avoid. And maybe what that card is speaking to is the fact that big changes have to be made in what we do with our connections and how we work with our connections and how our connections work with us.
And finally, the final card is how will I be able to achieve a balance between work and pleasure? Well, it might be tough going this time because we have the King of Swords here. So,
and the King of Swords really talks a lot
reversed.
about balance or, decisions, choices to make.
Bad ones.
Bad ones, or talks about how we apply that mental activity, the swords thing, the intellectual capacity towards decisions. It may just be that the King of Swords represents the idea that a harsh choice has to be made.
I think what this is telling me, though, I'm going to go off a little bit on this and just say that...
Oh, I have more to say, too.
Oh, I'm sure you do. We always do. And so I think that what this is saying is that, you're going to have a hard time striking that balance. You're really going to be undecided about what you need to do to really achieve that balance.
And it could be, too, that because when we look at the previous cards, especially the one just previous with the major changes going, we may feel that we really have no choice but to look at things a little bit more harsher now, that so much has happened and changed, and there are so many things that are up for or in the stakes, in the balance, caught in the balance, that sometimes we have to make hard changes. And it kind of goes back to some of the things that were in the first reading too about choices and changes that we're making. So very interesting.
Very. And so, very fascinating reading for the fixed signs here. I'm going to just show the cards again so you can see them. And any final comments, Mr. O?
It's going to be a bumpy ride for all of the mutual fixed signs,
yeah,
too.
A little bit of up, a little bit of down. Change is good sometimes, though. And I think that death card with your connections and whatnot is an important... maybe process that needs to happen right now. And last but not at all least, we have our mutable signs. And our mutable signs, again, are Sagittarius, Pisces, Gemini, and Virgo. And so we're going to go ahead.
And so to some degree, I guess you could say that the mutable signs can be change agents, that they can be people who, whether for good or bad, or whether intentional or unintentional, they may have elements of change around them. They may initiate change.
Right. They are the flexible ones, among us. More flexible than the other two.
Because the reading is designed to show how people work through their stuff each month, this to me indicates that the mutable signs, which really are about changing the energy of things, really tend to be prime in all of this.
Here you go, Mr. O. So I hope everybody's having a beautiful day today. As you can see, bright sun outside behind us. It's just gorgeous here in Michigan, but it is a hot one today.
Yes, and I really wanted to have the shades open here. Normally we have our little banner in the back and the shades are closed, but I thought it's the first day or midsummer, however you look at that, and
let
it's
the
beautiful.
sun shine in.
Let the sun shine. Don't worry, I'm saving the best for last.
I know you are. Okay, the 4 cards. Oh my. They're all upright, and sometimes that can be good, and sometimes not.
My.
For example, we have the 5 of Pentacles here as the first card, upright. They're all upright. We have the Hanged Man. It's the second card. We have the Ace of Cups. And we have the Hierophant. Wow. So this is very interesting. So how will the mutable signs need to shift their perspective during this cycle?
5 of Pentacles. Well, mutable signs will really have things that will impress upon them. A lot of them touching them emotionally, but it's their perception of what's happening around them that provides the feelings of security and the feelings of being comfortable in a materialistic-oriented society, and whether or not we feel we have any grace being shown at us.
Well, I'd say they have to shift their perspective from feelings of lack and neediness to feelings of abundance and looking at what they really have as opposed to what they are really lacking. I think that's how they need to shift their focus.
Right. If you need the simple pop psychology, it's kind of like the Monty Python thing. Always look at the bright side of life. And that's the point here, is that inherent in the Five of Pentacles most of the time is the fact that there's something bright there, but you're not really looking at it. So you need to look at it.
Is your cup half full or half empty?
Well, I'm thirsty today, so I can't tell you what it might be in a minute or two.
So I think that's what's going on here with you mutables right now. How are others' emotions affecting you? Well, you have the Hanged Man.
Do you feel like you're being influenced to consider sacrifice or to consider giving up something for a better thing? The sacrifice idea is when you give up something for something better to happen, whether or not it benefits you. Are others making you feel that way, or are you just feeling that way because you feel others should feel that way?
Others are making you feel as though you have to give of yourself more, like you're not doing enough. And I think that's basically what this means here. And let's tack that onto the first card, this feeling of lack. Maybe also, you feel, like you maybe don't have enough energy or support or time to give to others at this time right now. But really, I think you do. I think it's just that perspective. Like it said, you have to shift that perspective and recognize, that other people need you right now. And you may have to make some sacrifices in order to accommodate that.
There's kind of the idea for me that an illusion or metaphor about the Hanged Man is that he's suspended in the air, but maybe it's a idea that we have to rise to the occasion, to transcend that bond.
Yeah. Card number 3, what do you need to know or find out to better position yourself for success? Wow. And it is the Ace of Cups upright.
Love is in the air.
So what you need to know or find out is, maybe how to channel that, channel the love inside of you to really project outward to others to make them feel better, about their situation or their lives right now.
I won't go too much off the tangent here, but I know that during the Age of Enlightenment, over 100 years ago, one of the things that came back was that as we were looking at religion as having more of a cultural emphasis than rather a guiding influence specifically on our lives, the idea that the world was enchanted and that we should listen to and react with the world of nature, the re-enchantment of the world. And I feel that that's what that card is telling us too.
Well, and I think also to better position yourself for success is to just exude, just let the love inside of you come out, and whether that is in your interpersonal relationships or just to, all the people around you, really open your heart to love and, receiving and giving.
That's what I meant.
Okay. Aw, that's right. That's so adorable.
So let's move on.
Okay, the final card for you guys is what kind of adjustments will you need to make this month in order to be more effective and achieve success? So, the actual adjustments you have to make, this is very interesting. Here we have the Hierophant upright. And so I think, maybe it's time to maybe it's time to look back at some of your traditional beliefs and feelings, without the dogma. Don't get too dogmatic that you don't accept new ideas and opinions and possible creative solutions. But, maybe you need to fall back on some things you traditionally do or think.
Well, that's the Hierophant in a ways. It often talks about conventionality, conformity, or orthodoxy of certain sorts. But I'm just going to say we can kind of lighten up on that and maybe go back somewhere into the 80s when, what was his name? Huey Lewis in the News had a song,
Gosh.
It's Hip to be Square. And that sometimes it's okay to not necessarily be out there trying to break trends and something like that. Sometimes
That's
is
true.
a comfort in being a little bit normal. I know, nobody wants to hear that, right? Be normal.
What is normal anymore?
Have you tried being normal?
We don't know.
I don't really mean that. I sort of mean the idea that we can accept everything. We can accept those who want to be conventional or those who want to always get in the way.
Yeah.
Thank you for moving my glass.
Yeah.
He would have taken it out in a second.
So basically, again, this is the cards we have for you guys. Showing them up here. I think I've got it so you can see them. And final thoughts are basically, he's right. Maybe it's time to be a little bit more conventional than not, and be there for others. Be there for others. Sacrifice a little bit if you need to, and remember that basically that you should, sacrifice, and also think about, that sacrifices is not about leaving you with less. Think about all the good you can do with that.
Being conventional means being able to accept everybody, too, because maybe we're moving into a new society where those rules don't apply anymore, and maybe it'll be a society that is more based on love.
Aww. So anyway, that's what we have for all of you for this month, and wishing you the best. Anything we want to add, Mr. O?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. So that's our show for this summer solstice. Again, blessed happy solstice to everybody who celebrates that. If you just celebrate the longest day of the year, which I certainly like, very much a light person, celebrate and enjoy the day. And we'll see you in another month for another modality message.
Bye-bye.
Take care, everybody. Goodbye.